So how do we compare the two? Hello, darling. Can you take him out of here? I'm on a video call doing training for seniors. The bed? No, you can leave it there. Okay, so employer coverage versus Medicare. How do we compare the two? It's very important to learn how to compare these two if you're in that situation. If you're not in that situation, obviously you can always just reach out to me and I'll be able to do this easily for you. But I like to give people the ability to do things themselves. So what we look at is how do we compare the two? So we're looking at maximum out of pocket. That's number one. That's the first thing that we look at. Number two is drug costs. Because with drug coverage through employers, a lot of times it is significantly better. I have clients all the time that I tell that, look, you have to keep your group coverage because, even your medical costs are better with Medicare. However, your drug costs are not. So it's everybody's situation is different. If you may be watching this and you may be saying, oh, I don't take any medication, so I don't need it. I don't need it, and neither does my wife or whatever. Whoever, that may not be true. Somebody that's on that group coverage may need that drug, that medication may not be covered by Medicare plan, or it may be covered, but it's way more expensive and you're going to pay $2,000 as opposed to $30 a month. Everything you always have, every situation is different. It's always different. Medicare is never a one size fits all. So one size fits all. Nope. Right. So it's not a one size fits all. That's the important thing to make a note of. Right. So employer coverage, people always ask me about that. What if I'm still working? If you're still working, you do not need to take Medicare, but maybe you should, right? So let's look at a couple of different scenarios here. So this scenarios are always the best way to look at it, right? So scenario one, you have scenario I. That's Roman numerals. Scenario one. Scenario one is you're taking a medication, an expensive medication. Okay. That's the first thing that I'm going to ask about, right? As the representative, as the professional, it's the first thing I'm going to ask about. Are you taking any medications that may be pricey with Medicare? So if you're taking expensive medication, simple. Check Medicare costs. And if it makes sense and that drug is covered well, then we can go with a Medicare program, potentially saving you some money. It's always about money. But then let's say look at the second option. You're taking no meds, and you're single, right? So it's just you on group coverage. Okay, you're taking no meds. All right, well, in that case, which plan is it, group versus Medicare, has the best package? You look at max out of pockets, deductibles. You're going to look at benefits with Medicare. A lot of times, if you choose Medicare Advantage, you get dental, you get vision, you get hearing, critical illness coverage. A lot of times with Medicare, you get critical illness package built in. Phenomenal. There's always these things you're going to look at, right? So you have there's endless amounts of scenarios. You have to, first of all, in my opinion, you need to get a professional on the phone. But if you're one of those people that wants to do it yourself first, check it out. It's simple. Add up your deductible. Add up your deductible is what you pay before the insurance company kicks in. Add up your max out of pocket. How much out of pocket, worst case scenario, are you going to be with Medicare versus your group coverage? How much is the cost monthly? If Medicare costs a bunch of money, or let's say your group coverage costs $500 a month and it's the best coverage you can get, but Medicare costs $250 and you're paying, the only difference is that you're paying a few copays. You have to weigh your options. But I've helped over 3,000 people, and the truth is, you just need to have a representative. But the podcast is not to tell you that you need a representative. This information is there to guide you and just give you information if you're one of those people that likes to learn. That's all it is. So, two different scenarios. You either need the group coverage or you don't need the group coverage. The group coverage either costs you more or it costs you less for Medicare. The scenarios are different. Every single one, medications, doctor visits, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, the goal is the same. Spend the least amount of money on healthcare costs. It's the same. The goal is the same. It always will be.